All right, we're on. Ricky, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, how you doing? I'm great.
I'm doing
Bright and
well, man.
early here.
Yeah. What?
Said it's bright and early here.
Yeah, man. It is actually. Totally forgot about that. It's
Yeah,
it's about dinner
it's
time now.
10:30.
Yeah, it's
So
nine
it's late
o'clock
for
here.
you, yeah.
Yeah. Cleaned up, I can see. Got a
Yeah, a
haircut.
little bit.
Got a little pharaoh mustache going.
Yeah. Well, you see the hair. See, I'm trying to grow the hair out since it's getting cold. I got to keep my head warm. It's the only way I could do it.
Okay.
That, or I end up wearing beanies like all the time, which I don't mind.
that that might be true actually. I never faced that kind of weather in India, so I don't really understand all of that.
Oh,
But
hey, come visit. You'll hate it.
I do actually. I remember a couple of times when I was in Canada and I was in New York. Dude, I was freezing. I was like, nah, I don't like this. I don't like this weather. I prefer Bombay's weather. It was
No, yeah,
pretty
yeah.
rough.
Me too, man. I can't do. I don't know. I hate the cold weather. I'm here, but it is what it is. But I need to live someplace warm for sure.
Yeah,
Happy.
yeah. I mean, back in the day when people used to ask me, would you prefer living in a warm country or a cold country? I should always say cold country because I'm always in Mumbai. It's always 30 degrees or
Always
more.
hot. Yeah.
So, but then when I went to a cold country, I was like, yeah, I'd prefer a fucking warm country, man. Screw this shit. This
Like
is
it's that when you realize it's that first time that you go out in the daytime, right? And it's somewhat nice, and then like by the time it starts getting dark and like you're all of a sudden freezing and you
yeah,
have no extra clothing, that's when you're like, man, this sucks. Because otherwise, like if it's hot, it's only gonna get cooler. It's not really at nighttime.
yeah,
It's not gonna go the opposite.
yeah.
It's like it's just
Well, unless you're in Dubai or in the Middle East, I'll tell you, man. I walked. You can't walk for 10 minutes. I remember I was in Riyadh or someplace like that in Kuwait, and in the middle of their summer, it was like 45, 48 degrees, and for some reason I couldn't find a cab, or I don't know what I was doing, why I was walking. I think I decided to walk to the nearest supermarket because it was like only 10-minute walk. And firstly, they have no sidewalks, so you're just walking the street and people don't really care if you live or die. And it's really,
yeah,
really hard. It is really hard. It's like, I mean, it is the desert after all. Just
yeah.
because you got these big buildings there doesn't mean that stops being a desert. It is still a desert. You forget that. Um, but if you ask me, I think I would prefer that to the polar vortex because I remember I was in New York once, and my friend and I were walking in forget the name of the area when NYU's campuses, and
Mm.
it was cold and it started raining. Dude, that was not
Yeah,
fun.
yeah,
It
because it
was
seeps
so
through
bad.
and then you're soaked. Yeah, no, it gets into your bones, man. It's bad.
Exactly. So my friend and I went to the nearest coffee shop eventually, went to the bathroom, we found a dryer, and we took out our socks and we were drying our feet in the hand blower. It was messed up, but it was, yeah, it was an
You know,
experience.
that reminds me of some places aren't even safe. Sometimes, at least with what's going on in the world right now. Because like a few years ago, me and Andrew or Dempsey, we were I had dropped one of our. Remember, you met Adrian over Zoom or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So she had just moved. She was moving out of the apartment, right? And I drove her down, or I helped drive her down to Florida to where she was moving.
Mm.
And Andrew was down in Florida, and so he was going to drive me back up to Asheville, like to get back home.
Yeah.
And this was New Year's, probably about 2 or 3 years ago. No, 3 or 4 years. Oh God, yeah, wow. It's been a while. Like 4 years ago, New Year's. So we're in Florida, right? And it's in Florida. It's like it's wintertime, but at that point it was like 60, 70 degrees still. Still warm, Fahrenheit. And so we're traveling back to North Carolina, and at that point there was a snowstorm that had come through, not a snowstorm, a winter freeze that had come through from all the way from the northeast all the way down to Florida. Florida doesn't ever get snow usually. This in top of Florida, it was snowing in like Jacksonville and everything, like the Panhandle. It was snowing, and so while we're driving up from North Carolina, it's like every like hour it's dropping like 5 or 10 degrees. So like we start in like southern Florida near like I think we were over near Palm Springs or whatever, like down near Tampa. So we're coming back up, and like every hour it's like dropping. We get to like we get out of Florida, we get into Georgia. It's now like 40 degrees by the time we get into Georgia. It's like crap, this is crazy. We go a little bit further, it drops even more. by the time, and remind you, we're dressed for like Florida weather because we were like, oh, it's gonna be warm. We weren't expecting to be that cold. By the time we get into like 2 to 3 hours from Asheville, which mind you, this is like a 17-hour drive. By the time we get to 2 to 3 hours from Asheville, it's now 8 degrees outside, and his truck doesn't have heat, and we're both dressed in like shorts and t-shirts kind of stuff, freezing. So we stopped like literally 3 times at different like Waffle Houses. Andrew's putting coffee, like he's got the coffee cup in his hand, he's putting it on his feet because they're so cold. Driving at one point. So finally, again, we stopped at a Denny's or something like that. We're finally get back. We're 2 hours out of the way. We're like, okay, let's get back in the car and go finish it out. Go to get in the car. The car doesn't start. So we're both freaking out because it's 8 degrees outside. Car doesn't start. The heat's not on. So we're both like, I try it like car like 3-4 times. Nothing happens. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to wait 10 seconds. I'm going to try again. And it's going to start and we're going to go home and it's going to be great. And, and I don't know who was listening or who, like, my lucky day or something like that. But like, I turn that key and mind you, like the car kicks on. Not only does the car kick on, but the heat turns on. The heat hasn't worked in his car in like 8 years. Yeah, it's absurd. So like the heat turns on for the last 2 hours. It gets us home. We were able to, I don't think it was even that hot in the car, but it was so much better than what it had been that we were able to get there. He's still crying because but we were a half hour from Asheville and like the heat's on and everything. I'm driving. He's like, just stop. I can't make it anymore. It's like, dude, we're a half hour home from home. He's like, I don't care. I'll pay for a hotel. I was like, dude, no, I'm going home. But we got there, whatever. But mind you, like literally a week later, his car just dies. Like it's really bad. Like
this is his truck. Great. It's not a car.
This is his truck. Yeah, well, he had a truck. He had a old Mazda.
Okay.
Truck, not the one he's got now,
bro.
But
what is it?
Died. It got us there, and then it died. So,
what's 8 degrees Fahrenheit in Celsius? What do you?
Hey, what? 80 degrees Fahrenheit?
Did you say it was 80 or 8 degrees Fahrenheit?
8.
What is 8 degrees Fahrenheit in Celsius? Because I don't understand. I used to.
Let me look it up. Well, it's definitely it's below zero. But
yeah, for sure, I know. Quick. But how much below zero is 8? Is it like minus 15 or something? You looking it up? What does it say? Are you looking it up?
Negative 13.
Dude.
Negative 13 degrees Celsius.
It's nuts. I'll tell you a story. So I'm obviously inexperienced with cold weather, right? And I don't know what to expect because stupid, firstly. Secondly, I don't know what minus 13 feels like because I've never experienced it in my life.
Because you never had it. It's awful.
It is. I'll tell you. I was in Montreal, a few years ago, and I was sitting in my ex-girlfriend, but then girlfriend's room in her house, and she had these big windows, right? So we're sitting in the living room, and it's, of course, it's white outside, but the sun's out. So I'm like, hey, look, the sun's out. Let's go out. She's like, do you know what temperature it is? I said, yeah, but the sun's out, so it's going to feel awesome, right? Because in my head, it's like cold, but when the sun hits you, it's like, oh, it's such a great feeling, right? Yeah, it's a great feeling, right? It's like sitting in a blanket. She's like, okay, you're a fool, but we can go. And
we can do this, yeah.
Yeah, you can learn the hard way if you want. And we drive to Old Montreal, and I get out, and I start walking. I swear, bro, 5 minutes in, I thought my ears were going to burst, bro. I was like, nah, I'm not doing this. Let's get out of here. We went straight to the nearest bar, and I was like, whatever, man, give me a hot coffee or whatever. I did
anything hot.
Brussels. Dude, you were minus 13. I was 1 degree, right? 1 degree, and I was like, I felt I was gonna die. I just eaten a big meal, so I don't know if this has. See, that's the thing. I don't know if these things have an effect, but I think they do because I just finished a big meal, so maybe my body was working harder, so I felt colder.
So yeah, your blood rushes to your stomach to help digest your food, exactly, and so it brings it away from the extremities. So if you also are then in a cold area, you're going to feel even more cold, generally speaking, after the fact, because all that blood is focusing there.
Yeah. So I finished a big meal, and I walked out. I was in this place called Grand Square, which is the central square in the city. And we were walking out. I was freezing, man. It was only 1 degree, though. And then I went to a coffee shop nearby, and then I got myself, all of us, we got ourselves a hot chocolate. with some brandy in it. And I got out, I felt invincible. That's when I realized how actually alcohol helps, man. It actually heats you up.
Well,
See, in India, we don't
actually,
know.
truthfully, alcohol doesn't heat you up. It makes you feel warmer, but it actually lowers your core body temperature.
Ah.
But like because it lowers your core body temperature, your body works harder to warm you up. You know. Like
Right.
so you feel warmer, but you're actually technically not really any warmer.
It's like a placebo, but not for your body. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, I said in India we don't know but India it gets very cold in the north. I don't know because I live in
Yeah.
Mumbai. Yeah.
You don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what it's a whole different.
Live on the beach.
There.
It's temperature. You ask me what the forecast is tomorrow, and I'll tell you any time of the day. It's hot. That's it. It's gonna be like in a week. It's gonna be hot.
Hot. I guess the newscasters in Bombay get it pretty easy, or Mumbai get it pretty easy too.
It's gonna be hot.
Yeah.
Hotter.
It's gonna be hot.
Still hot. Then you're gonna go sleep. It's gonna be hot.
Might have a cloud tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, dude, but when it rains, man, it rains like crazy. Dude, right now in India the seasons are. I mean, depends on which part you are, but in the Indian climatic seasons they're based on the monsoon. So it's pre-monsoon, monsoon, post-monsoon. Right, at least where I am. In the north it's winter. It's proper winter, right?
Uh-huh.
But right now we are supposed to be in winter in Mumbai. Do you know what the temperature is? The day temperature in November, 34 degrees.
And that's normal, or is that high?
34 degrees Celsius, brother. I think that's close to 100. Yeah.
Is that close to 100? I
think so. Isn't it 140?
Well, I do. When it comes to Celsius, I'm completely useless.
Yeah, it's a bit of something is lost in translation over here between you and me in this conversation. But let's just say it's very okay. But it's gonna cool down though. It's gonna start.
It's 93. Wow, yeah, it's 93 degrees Fahrenheit. 93.2.
You want to hear another cool thing? Just one of those random facts that I read. I don't know where I read it. Was it some random something on Facebook or just a random?
I love random facts. So.
Yeah, it's fun. So the reason why people in Africa and the reason why the people in Scandinavia are so tall is because of evolution. Because it's so hot. Let's say Africa. It's so hot on the surface. The brain tries to move away from it, so you go taller, right?
Really?
Don't ask me intelligent questions on it because I can think of a few myself. But this is something I heard. All right, same thing in Scandinavia. All right, the brain tries to move away from it. You can ask why Eskimos are not tall. I can ask that question.
I was gonna say, like, what do you mean that, like, in Scandinavia, wouldn't they be trying to get closer to the ground?
No, further away from the cold. From the cold because the surface is cold. Okay. It's an extreme temperature thesis.
Interesting.
So it's very hot, so they try to go away, and it's very cold, so try to go away. But I think in *Sapiens* he talks about why people are pygmies in Africa, because I think in Africa, other than the pygmies, everybody is extremely tall, right? Or taller than the average person around the world. And and similarly in Northern Europe. Like the Dutch, I think, is supposed to be the tallest, and Scandinavia.
Dutch are definitely tall, man. A lot of pretty tall girls out
there. Yeah,
I know.
I knew you were gonna go there. I knew it. I actually missed out on somebody. I remember I was forget which city. I think I was in Berlin. And I was dancing with this girl, and she's like, "It's not gonna happen. I'm too tall." She said, "I really like you, but I'm too tall for you." I'm like, "All right."
Well, the girl I was dating in the Netherlands, she was about my height, a little bit, maybe about my height, yeah, a little bit shorter, maybe. Cool.
Yeah, anyways, that's that.
But she was also part Turkish, I believe. So.
Oh, they're average height, but they're beautiful. Yeah. We can talk about that pretty. After the podcast. So, all right. I gotta congratulate